Malik Wright. Up all day and all night, pushing all the buttons up to something till it's alright. He looking at it from all sides and angles. He got the stripes on his body like he played for the Bengals. Oh man, there's no one discussing it. They came, they stayed, they either did it or done it. And I love it, cause all they ever do is win. So kick back, relax, the TWSN.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sit Down with Malik Wright, brought to you by First Star Logistics. My name is Megan Ortwine. I got Daniel Alameda to my left, and of course, right to my right, I have the Malik Wright, and we have a lot to talk about today, so we're just going to get right into it, starting with a really hot topic in the NFL offseason, and that's Baker Mayfield ending up in Carolina with the Panthers. Daniel, what's the expectations for Baker Mayfield?
So first off, once again, it's amazing to be up here with you guys. I'm ready to have, an amazing show. Malik, get ready. A lot's going to happen this show. So the expectation for Carolina this year, I'll be honest, it's for them to field a winning football team, to have at least 9 wins. And when we're really discussing it, no one's high on this Panthers team. Everybody says that they're going to be a bottom feeder. Everybody's down about Baker Mayfield. And no one's really respecting the talent that this team has, right? The expectation is you bring in Baker Mayfield and you improve from last year. They're in a division that isn't one of the best. Tampa Bay, a lot going on with them. New Orleans Saints, still, new head coach. The Falcons are a bottom feeder. So I look at the talent on that defense. You have first-round talent everywhere. J.C. Horn, you got Matt Ioannidis in, interior defensive line, Brian Burns. So I'm concerned to see, how Baker Mayfield plays, but the talent around them, they need to field a winning football team this year.
Baker Mayfield has been in the National Football League for several years. I said a long time ago, Baker Mayfield is equivalent, I would say, to what's the quarterback over there in the Cleveland that was drafted by the Cleveland Browns? What's his face? I always talk about him. He's not with the Cardinals. Yeah, Colt McCoy. He's Colt McCoy with a personality. That's what Baker Mayfield is. So, we're all waiting for this guy to finally break out and finally become something that he isn't going to become. Again, another show where Daniel is picking up mediocre quarterbacks. First, it was Tua Tagovailoa. Now it's Baker Mayfield. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Baker Mayfield is going to run rampant on the Cleveland Browns week 1. Why? Because that is the exact scenario. That is the exact scenario in which Baker Mayfield thrives in. After that, you will start to see him fall off a cliff. You will start to see him do what he does best. Throw interceptions, turn the ball over. The fact of the matter is, the guy's not a franchise quarterback. He's not going to be a franchise quarterback. The quarterback room consists of P.J. Walker, Sam Darnold, and him. The fact of the matter is, he is what he is at this point. It's a reason why he failed in Cleveland when he had all the pieces around him. But again, you don't need me to tell you that, because like I always say on the show, men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Look, you just said men lie, women lie, numbers don't. He made the playoffs and they won a playoff game. And when I'm looking at this Panthers team, the expectation from the general consensus, the general media, is that they're going to be a bottom feeder. They're going to have 5 wins, 4 wins. Their Vegas win total is set at 6.5. And I think 80% of the public is on the under. No one's expecting this team to do anything.
And Daniel, what does that mean to me? What does that mean to me? I don't care what Vegas has it. Like, the fact of the matter is, Baker Mayfield is still their starting quarterback. I'm not sure what you're trying to convince me of, but I've seen enough AFC North football and Baker Mayfield AFC North football to know what this guy is. Kevin Stefanski is an offensive genius, if you ask me. And if it didn't work with Kevin Stefanski, it's not going to work with Matt Rule.
Malik, it depends on your definition of working. My definition of working is making the playoffs, is being a winning football team. And that's what they can be. That's what they need to be. Because if we're being honest, right, if they don't field a winning football team this year, if Baker Mayfield comes out and craps the bed, if Matt Rule's gone, this entire organization, they need to change something up. And I'll be honest, I look at the talent on that offense, DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson. The defense is full.
Did you just say Robbie Anderson?
Robbie Anderson is a good number 2 receiver.
This is a guy that failed to haul in 3 catches a game last year. What are you talking about?
Yeah, look,
Robbie Anderson.
Who was their quarterback? Sam Darnold.
Robbie Anderson's a close friend of my brother. And let me tell you right now, and I mean this with all due respect, he is not him. This is the same guy that was talking about contemplating retirement. So when you sit up on this show and you try to bring up guys that are going to help Baker Mayfield to a productive season, I can promise you he's not him. I thought you would at least bring up Laviska Shenault or somebody like that. Like my man Jay said, Colton said actually in the comment section, if you ask me. So again, Robbie Anderson doesn't do it for me.
It doesn't matter if Robbie Anderson doesn't. Christian McCaffrey,
When's the last season Christian McCaffrey was able to stay healthy?
But he's healthy now.
Yep.
He's healthy now. So
everybody starts the season healthy. Everybody starts the season healthy. And then it's the same. So what are we talking about?
We're talking about a team with a defense that is filled with first-round picks. And once again, Malik, I think you're kind of misconstruing what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're going to make the playoffs.
Daniel, I think you're misconstruing what you're saying.
Malik, I'm not even saying that they're, going to be a Super Bowl team. I'm saying that they are going to overachieve this year. They're not going to have
overachieve? What's
having
an overachieve?
9 wins. And obviously, if that's, the definition of, they're going to suck, I'm sorry, that's not the definition of they're going to suck. They're going to suck is 5 wins, 6 wins. They will not be a 5-win team. They will not be a 4-win team. I look at the talent on defense. That defense is going to surprise a ton of people.
I think Baker has it in him. I think I'm really excited to actually be able to be a fan of Baker's this season for once. And I really do think he has it in him to be a franchise quarterback for the Panthers.
He made the playoffs. Baker Mayfield made the playoffs. I'm not saying that he's going to be a Super Bowl team. I'm not saying that he's going to not throw interceptions. He's going to. But hell, he is an upgrade over Sam Darnold. He is an upgrade over PJ Walker. And the simple fact that he's an upgrade means they are going to be better than they were last year. The young talent that they have got a year older. And the simple fact that I'm saying is they will not be a bottom-feeding team. They will have more than 6 wins, and that's it.
When you're throwing to the likes of Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, David Njoku, Austin Hooper, you got in the backfield Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I sure as hell hope you make the playoffs. I hope you do. And I guess the measuring stick is beating the old Pittsburgh Steelers, because that's what they did when they won and I think anybody could have beaten those same Pittsburgh Steelers. To me, if that's the measuring stick, I don't know what to tell you. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, who couldn't field a productive offense down the field. Yeah, they should have won. But what happened the next game? They lost. So you keep talking about, he made the playoffs. And what did they do? They beat the worst team in the playoffs. And that was it. Then they got bounced. What are we talking about here?
Malik, the beautiful thing about the NFL, right? As you said, in the preseason, before the season, your expectations are high for everybody. If you do what you say you're going to do, if you do what the expectations are, that is a good thing. Because most of the time, expectations are too high, teams fall flat. You sat up here right here and said that they beat the Steelers, they did this. He made the playoffs. That's a win. If they can make the playoffs this year, I don't care if they get blown out by 40 points. If Baker Mayfield and this Panthers team fields a winning football team, we will come back here and say, wow, that shocked me. If we see the Panthers as a 7th seed, I promise you, you will be shocked. I'm not saying that they will, but you will be shocked.
As I said on last week's show, the beautiful thing about the NFL season is it's only a day away. A day away. So Daniel and I can sit up here and bite each other heads off all day and share a difference of opinion. The fact of the matter is we know I'm right. We all know what Baker Mayfield is. Come on, let me level with the audience right now. We all know what Baker Mayfield is at this point in time. Daniel, a lot like Tua Tagovailoa, he's still holding out hope. You're the same guy that probably still drafts Christian McCaffrey #1 in fantasy.
Nope.
Listen, the fact of the matter is we know what Baker Mayfield is. I promise you he's going to have a phenomenal game 1. After that, guy's going to struggle, but that's my bold prediction.
I disagree, and I'm really excited to watch what he does in Carolina. I think I will be a big fan of his now that he's not in Cleveland, but we'll go ahead and switch to Baker's old division rival, and that's Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. He's yet to sign a contract, and the season starts tomorrow. Is that a concern for Ravens fans? Daniel, what's in store for Lamar Jackson?
All Ravens fans, you should be concerned right now, and the reason why I say that is you need Lamar Jackson. They need Lamar Jackson. They can't win without Lamar Jackson. The reason why I say that is because they built this entire offense around Lamar Jackson. Greg Roman did a great job, catering to Lamar Jackson's strengths. Because if we're being honest, if Lamar Jackson's on any other team, he performs worse than what he's doing with the Ravens. They're surrounding him with the scheme needed. So I look at last year, I'll be honest, I saw Tyler Huntley play. Everybody's enamored with him. He's good. He went 1-5. 1-5, Malik. 1-5, Meg. What are people talking about saying, oh, Tyler Huntley can come in here and do Lamar Jackson's job? That's disrespectful. People are disrespecting Lamar Jackson, saying Tyler Huntley can do his job. He might, but not nearly the job that Lamar Jackson can do. So I'm sorry. They need to sign Lamar Jackson, because what's the alternative? Tyler Huntley, maybe go out and get another quarterback. But when you get another quarterback, you have to change your entire scheme. So I'm sorry. They need Lamar Jackson. Go out there, sign him. In the situation that they're in, they have to sign Lamar Jackson.
I agree with you, Daniel. And there's not too many times on this show in which I will agree with Daniel. But I'll tell you right now, the Ravens are idiots, just put it bluntly, to let it go this far. Because right now, they might be faced with the situation in which they're not going to be able to bring a guy like Lamar Jackson back. Lamar Jackson made it very, very clear. His deadline was the start of the regular season. The regular season starts tomorrow. And that's the downside. You see all these quarterbacks getting guaranteed money and stuff like that. And you're like, you know what? I deserve that. Lamar Jackson won an MVP. Lamar Jackson has won playoff games. Lamar Jackson is one of the most lethal quarterbacks in the National Football League. Do I think he is an amazing passer? No. But do I think he's a phenomenal talent? Yes. And I'm not blind to the fact that the Ravens need to do everything in their power to bring this guy, keep this guy in town by tonight. Because once tomorrow hits, the regular season starts, all cards are off the table. That means he's going to start listening to other offers at the end of the season and things of that nature. And honestly, if I'm Lamar Jackson, I feel disrespected. I feel disrespected that guys that are less proven than him, like you can talk about guys like Kyler Murray, so on and so forth, who get guaranteed money and stuff like that. And you look at everything Lamar Jackson has accomplished. Has it been the conventional way? Absolutely not. But has he gotten it done? Yes. He's done a lot more than a guy like Kyler Murray. Yep. And if you ask me, I think Lamar Jackson is deserving of that contract.
For sure.
Completely. And the biggest thing with this is I hear too many people always disrespect Lamar Jackson, saying, yes, he does struggle, right? He does struggle, facing blitzes. But in reality, what are we talking about? We're still talking about a guy who is a top 10 talent, a guy who is, a superstar level quarterback, a guy who's won an MVP. And it seems like people are saying, oh, because they didn't add receivers, they're going to suck this year. Or because Lamar Jackson hasn't done in the playoffs, that means they should get rid of him. In the NFL, the biggest thing is, what's your alternative? What's the alternative? What do? You pay, you built this entire offense around him, pay him his bag. And I'll be honest, he's done a lot for the city recently, right? He's built up this organization to where they were in the spotlight. They've been in the spotlight because of Lamar Jackson. So pay him his bag.
It could be a lot worse, right? You look at what the Seattle Seahawks are dealing with right now with Drew Lock and Drew Lock and Geno Smith. Imagine having to choose between those two. So if you ask me, I definitely think it could be a lot worse off for the Ravens. And I think the Ravens need to be cognizant of the fact and do whatever it takes in their power to re-sign a guy like Lamar Jackson, because he is generational.
Yep. How bad do you think Lamar really wants to stay in Baltimore? Do you think that's his first option? He's been liking some Miami Dolphins swaps on Twitter. So
I mean, that's just players, that's just him playing the leverage game and trying to position himself almost as if like, I don't need you, you need me type of deal. And in some instances, he's right, but nobody wants to move. Trust me. Last week, I just moved from New Jersey to Cincinnati. I wouldn't prefer to be anywhere else. But in terms of the moving process, it sucks. It sucks for players too. You got to learn. You got to do all these different things, learn new roads and places you're going to go and all that kind of stuff like that. Again, I love being in Cincinnati. Hate the moving process. The fact of the matter is, could you imagine Lamar Jackson have to up his life? I mean, he's best friends with a lot of people in the Baltimore community, guys like Gervonta Davis. He's good friends with Kodak Black and all these different, the guy doesn't want to just up and leave, but guess what? They're forcing his hand. Yep. And I know one thing's for sure. Miami would accept Lamar Jackson with open arms. Could you imagine him with the Mike McDaniel system? So if you ask me, I think the Ravens are, again, they've completely disrespected Lamar Jackson throughout this entire process. And if he leaves, it's on them.
Well, you talked a little bit about how the moving process sucks, man. All right. Like you're saying how it's hard to, move across the country. The one thing you didn't mention though,
what's that?
The beautiful thing that we've done so far, partner with First Star, right? It's been amazing. The other day we went to a Jack Harlow concert, sat in the First Star suite. Jack Harlow, Malik was getting a little jiggy with it. You can't lie. And we were talking, with a lot of the First Star employees, having a great time. So it's been amazing, being in the studio, the vibe in this entire environment, it's amazing. So we even got some nice merch, as you guys can see right here. We got to, rep the merch. So it's been amazing what we're doing here with First Star.
Absolutely. I will say I am a Jack Harlow fan. right now, and he's definitely impressed me. The performance was absolutely amazing. Special thanks to First Star for making that all possible. Also want to let you guys know, this upcoming Saturday at 10:30 a.m., we have a new betting show going live. Yes, so for all you sports bettors out there, I know betting isn't legal in Ohio yet, but guess what? We're the first to first and foremost do it, and we're going to be giving you all our best betting picks and tips. So if you guys like betting, if you want to win a little bit of cash, follow along. Make sure you guys tune in 10:30 a.m. the same YouTube channel for our new betting show, Right Bet. Yes, Right Bet. It'll be Daniel and myself, and I'm super excited to bring that to you.
That's great. So we're going to keep it in the AFC North, and we're going to move on to the Steelers, who just named Mitch Trubisky as their starter. Do we think this is the right move? Personally, I think this was the best outcome for the Steelers. Daniel, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. This is definitely the right move because a lot of people are trying to say, oh, Kenny Pickett deserves to be the starter. He's the homegrown talent. He's this. He's not even homegrown. He went to college in Pittsburgh for a couple years. He's not from Pittsburgh. So everybody has this fascination with, Kenny Pickett. He's good. He looked good in the preseason. But when we're actually talking about it, rookie quarterbacks don't always succeed right off the bat.
Yep.
We've seen so many times guys like Lamar Jackson, guys like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. It takes them a little bit. Let, somebody else take the reign for a little bit. Because if we're being honest, if you're not a premier top 10 pick, you don't have to start week one. You can wait a little bit. Learn behind, while Trubisky isn't the greatest quarterback, learn behind someone, right? So let Kenny Pickett rest a little bit, put him at the end of the season, give him a couple games, maybe midway through the season. But if we're being honest, this Steelers team, they don't have a real shot at contending this year. So give Mitchell Trubisky a chance right off the bat and then Pickett later on.
Imagine, I feel bad for a guy like Kenny Pickett. He's learning from Mason Rudolph and Mitchell Trubisky about being a quarterback in the National Football League. What a duo to learn from. I don't know. We know what Mitchell Trubisky is again, average. Daniel loves his average quarterbacks, right? We know Mitchell Trubisky's average. Mason Rudolph is not that guy. I thought the guy would have got released. So I feel bad for Kenny Pickett. I think Kenny Pickett would breathe a breath of fresh air in that Pittsburgh Steelers offense. I don't think Mitchell Trubisky's that guy. We're going to find that out this weekend. But listen, at the end of the day, Pittsburgh is going to Pittsburgh. I said it last week. I think that this will be the first losing season in the Mike Tomlin era in Pittsburgh. And I don't necessarily think that's a hot take. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
But Malik, even though that they're going to have a losing season, that doesn't mean that you put Kenny Pickett, throw him into the fire week one. I'm sorry. The thing that, national media, a lot of them, they don't talk about is quarterbacks. The situation is everything. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks like Zach Wilson, like Trevor Lawrence last year. Even you can point to Sam Darnold. A lot of these guys would be much better off if their situation was better.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be honest. I look at this Steelers team. They've got potential in the future. As of right now, that offensive line, I'm not throwing my rookie quarterback week one behind that offensive line.
So he's going to sit and he's going to learn from Mitchell Trubisky and Mason Rudolph. What are they going to teach him?
That's better than getting killed 16, 17 straight weeks. I'm sorry. I'm not throwing
There's a quarterback by the name of Joe Burrow who came into the National
We're not
Football League behind. No, but a lot of people like to compare them, especially because they have both small hands, apparently, right? No, but in all seriousness, listen, Joe Burrow came into the league behind the worst offensive line. Guess who has the worst offensive line or projected worst offensive line this year? The Pittsburgh Steelers. So if anything, Kenny Pickett is going to learn. If anything, you'll get to know what you actually have in Kenny Pickett. To me, that's not a bad thing. What is he going to learn sitting behind Mitchell Trubisky and Mason Rudolph?
Malik.
Exactly, nothing.
Malik, I think that's asinine. I'm sorry. You can't compare Joe Burrow and Kenny Pickett. There's a huge discrepancy in talent. Kenny Pickett isn't going to step in there and week one, go learn a lot. He's going to learn, but I'm sorry.
You're talking about coddling a guy that was a first-round pick.
Coddling a guy that wasn't an elite talent. Joe Burrow was the number one overall pick. Damn right he should have been the starter. Look at all these other guys in the top 5, top 10. That's fine. Start them. But we've seen guys, and it's worked. Patrick Mahomes, it worked. Lamar Jackson, it worked. It works with these guys. I'm sorry. I'm not throwing my quarterback, who is Kenny Pickett's, was an average prospect. Maybe shouldn't have even been a first-round pick. He was. But I'm sorry. I'm not throwing him in the fire with the worst offensive line in the league. I am not doing that.
Listen, my belief is if you draft the guy in the first round, Give him the opportunity to prove himself. There's a reason why you draft him in the first round. I'm not in the business of coddling players. I'm not in the business of bringing them along. So listen, the two options at quarterback suck. They suck. They're awful. Mitchell Trubisky, awful. Mason Rudolph shouldn't be on an NFL roster. I'm going to tell it like it is. Kenny Pickett should be the Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterback week 1. He's not. It's okay. Either way, they're not going to have a winning season.
Malik, you said you're not in the business for coddling a quarterback. I'm not in the business for getting my quarterback hurt. If I'm the franchise, I'm not getting him hurt. I'm sorry. I saw what Joe Burrow, he tore his ACL.
So now we're scared of starting quarterbacks.
Yes, I am scared of starting my quarterback who.
That explains why you're not in an NFL front office, Daniel.
Malik, so you're telling me, are you happy with the fact that he gets to go behind there and get sacked 60 times? If you look at,
you're asking me, am I happy if a Pittsburgh Steeler quarterback gets to get sacked behind a terrible offensive line? Hell yeah, I am.
So if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers management, you are going to sit up there and say, if Kenny Pickett's your franchise quarterback, okay, you know what? I'm okay with him getting sacked 60 times if that means he's learning. Because he's learning. I'm not going to get my quarterback sacked 60 times.
Here's my thing, Meg. Here's my thing, Daniel. At some point, we're going to see Kenny Pickett this season.
Yes.
So why not just let him start week 1? The guy's going to progress. Now he's going to come in next year as a rookie again.
What happens if he goes out there and he doesn't perform, right? And then he's getting benched for Trubisky, and that's worse on his confidence than if he mid-season gets to come in because he can do better than Mitch.
I love the point you're making, Megan. I really do. But if you ask me, I don't think that the drop-off between Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky is that huge, if you ask me. I think that Kenny Pickett at this point in time, we don't know what he is in the National Football League, which is exciting, which should be exciting for the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator and stuff like that. You should be excited though, Kenny Pickett and Fire, see what you have. I mean, the fact of the matter is, Matt Canada, I know that he was trying to get a quarterback that was a little bit more mobile that can fit his system and stuff like that. And Kenny Pickett can offer you that. Listen, I'm not going to sit up here and say Kenny Pickett is a world beater because he's definitely not that. But I do think he provides more upside than a guy like Mitchell Trubisky and certainly than Mason Rudolph right now. But that's just my opinion.
So, Malik, all I'm going to say is you can say, yes, they do have a better chance with Kenny Pickett, but we're talking about a quarterback and we're talking about their future.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm going to say is I'm not excited to throw my franchise quarterback in the fire week 1 with that offensive line. I'm okay with doing it week 8. I'm okay with doing it week 12. I am not throwing him in the fire week 1 with that offensive line. That's all I'll say.
I'm going to make the comparison to Tua in Miami last season getting benched for Ryan Fitzpatrick. And it's like, I feel like that's why he's being so questioned this season is because his confidence and everything he went out to do last season, getting benched for Fitzpatrick, I feel like that's what stumped his growth. And I don't think that should happen and I don't think the Steelers want that to happen to their quarterback who they just drafted and they see a future for.
Make a good point.
So he's going to start this Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals in town. What do we think is going to happen in that game?
But before we start with that, let me just say there was an interesting stat we were being given before the show started. Colton, what was that stat again that you said?
25NFL.com analysts predicted their Super Bowl winners, and that one shows the Bengals.
25 analysts predicted their Super Bowl winners, and nobody picked the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to say it. Absolutely disrespectful. Absolutely disrespectful. But you know what? This is revenge tour. I know there are some people out there that think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to beat the Cincinnati Bengals, but let me let you in on a little secret of what's going to happen. And you know one thing I'm excited about, guys? Daniel and I will be in the First Star Suite with some First Star employees watching this happen. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Follow me over here. If you look over here closely, you'll see that there's a tiger with a Big Ben doll in his mouth. A tiger with a Big Ben doll in his mouth, right? Well, Big Ben is no longer the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's Mitchell Trubisky, like we just talked about, right? But let me let you in on a little secret. This isn't a prediction. This is a spoiler. The Cincinnati Bengals are not only going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to absolutely dismantle the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, right? Because the Pittsburgh Steelers are projected to have the worst offensive line in the NFL this season. I'm calling it right now. Joseph Asai, DJ Reader, BJ Hill, Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson. They're going to combine for 6 sacks. Meg, Dan, remember me telling you this. 6 sacks. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to absolutely obliterate the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I promise you it won't be close.
I agree, and I think the 6.5 spread is also super disrespectful to the Cincinnati Bengals. They're gonna crush it. Not even a question.
So that's exactly my point of why Kenny Pickett shouldn't be the starter week 1. But I completely agree with you, Malik. I completely agree with you. Listen, this isn't going to be close, right? A lot of times people say divisional matchups are close. They tend to be close. When we're looking at it, the talent on the two rosters, there's a huge discrepancy. I'm sorry. I look at the two offenses. I saw the Steelers offense in preseason. They looked okay, but that offensive line, I'm sorry.
Average.
If they get sacked, if Mitchell Trubisky gets sacked 6 times, 7 times, it's going to be a bloodbath. And I look at the Bengals team. I look at that offense. The biggest question around the Bengals, right, is, Super Bowl hangover. Somebody's going to get hurt, blah, blah, blah. The beautiful thing is everyone's healthy week 1. So week 1, the Bengals are going to demolish the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they'll beat them by 10 points.
I got 15.
Some things for you guys to keep in mind if you're a bettor. But we're going to switch over to college football, and we're going to keep it in Ohio, the Ohio State Buckeyes and CJ Stroud. A lot of eyes on them this past week. They didn't perform the best. They were pretty average, if you ask me. Can Stroud lead them to a national championship?
Come on. People are, talking about this team, seeing, Jackson Smith had 2 catches for 5 yards, saying, oh, you know what? Maybe we should reel back the reins on, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Stop it. CJ Stroud is one of the best quarterback prospects we've ever seen. They've got talent in the running game. They've got talent at the receiving position. I'm sorry, this team, yes, they are the number 2 contender for the championship. And I'm sorry for people saying that they're not going to do it. They're going to be in the playoff, and they are going to make the national championship. So people just need to realize college football is so much about talent. You look at the quarterback and you see the running backs they have, the star receiver, they will be in the college football playoff.
Daniel, you're right. I do think they will be in the college football playoffs. Hell, they might even make the championship, but I'm going to tell you who's going to win the national championship. Again, this isn't a prediction. It's a spoiler. Roll Tide. Alabama Crimson Tide is going to win the national championship. Who are we kidding ourselves? But I do like CJ Stroud. I do think he's a phenomenal prospect. Greatest we've ever seen. I don't know about all that. I do think he's I do think he's a phenomenal quarterback. I think they did start off slow, but I do expect the wheels to keep get turning as the season progresses and stuff like that. But I was impressed with CJ Stroud personally, considering I think it's just something when you're able to win those games, you're able to gut out those games when you're not necessarily playing your best and you're not necessarily at your best. So yeah, CJ Stroud, good prospect. Can he lead them to a champ? Can he lead them to the game? Yes, absolutely. Will they win? Absolutely not.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, right? There's a huge discrepancy in college football. Before the season, a lot of people were hyping up this Utah Utes team saying, oh, they're going to be the next blah, blah, blah. They can be the dark horse. College football, it's a 2-team race. I'm sorry. Georgia did a great job week 1, but they're not competing with Alabama. They're not competing with Ohio State. So all I say is I saw a lot of people out there scared about Ohio State after this, week 1. Don't be scared. They got the quarterback. They have the star talent. They're fine.
So a 2-team race. How do you guys feel about this 12-team playoffs for college football? Because personally, I don't think more football is an issue. But when you just know that these teams are when these teams are getting chances that they're just going to get blown out, no questions asked, is it really worth it?
No, like they want it. Obviously, it's all about the money. It's all about the eyes. But if we're being honest, we're going to see an Alabama team, the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed against the 12 seed. There's a huge discrepancy in college football about the top 4 teams and the rest. So yes, you'll see an upset with maybe, 7 upsets 5 and 8 upsets 4. But when we're really breaking down, to the nuts and bolts of it, the same teams are going to be in the championship every single year. We've seen it time and time again. So yes, it's cool, to have the underdog story. Fans love the underdog story. But if you're asking, can a team, an 11 seed, win the championship? No. So yeah. You
agree with that?
I agree.
What about 8-team?
I think it's perfect the way it is currently. I wouldn't make too many changes with it. I think that, I agree with Daniel's point. And again, I can't believe Daniel and I are agreeing as much as we are on the show, but I agree.
I feel like I wouldn't hate an 8-team just because, like I said, the more football, the better. But at the same time, you have to be realistic, so I understand. But we'll go from one Ohio team to the other, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Now, that's a rough outing they had against the Razorbacks. Is this something we should be worried about? Personally, I expected this. We all knew this was going to happen. So are we worried?
Yeah, I think when you lose as many, seniors and NFL prospects that the UC Bearcats lost. I think this is expected. I think you should have expected to see a team come out the gate a little, struggling the way that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Desmond Ridder, he helped lift that program up. I do think that the Bearcats will find their footing at some point, but I think that last year's success was sort of an outlier. And I know a lot of UC fans don't like hearing that, but again, on this show, you're going to get real talk. I do think that Luke Fickell's a phenomenal coach and things of that nature, but I just think that when you lose guys like Kobe Bryant, you lose guys like Sauce Gardner, Desmond Ridder, so on and so forth, Amaji Sanders, I think that you should have expected to see a drop-off the way that we have.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. There's a learning curve, obviously. And I'm sorry, if anybody expected anything different, you need to temper your expectations. This team is a team that it's going to take a while for them to find their footing.
Yeah.
And who's to even say that they're going to be as good as they were last year? They're not.
Well, here's what I will say. I think the best thing that could happen for the Bearcats is that Luke Fickell stayed on. He didn't take another job offer because I do believe in Luke Fickell as a coach. And I do think as long as you have him as the head man at UC, I think that they can get back to the promised land because he put UC on the map last year for sure.
Completely. And that's something that not a lot of fans really talk about, right? College football is so much about coaching. There's a huge difference between, college football and other sports. Coaching is everything. The environment in a team is everything. The culture is everything. So I completely agree with you. That's the biggest thing, coaching, and the fact that when you lose as many captains as they did last year, there is a learning curve. Week 1, we weren't surprised that it went the way it did.
Yeah, and it does suck to kind of see that kind of transition from your team. But, I really don't know any Bearcat fans that really thought it was going to go differently. So it is what it is. Hope the best for them in the future, but this year it's not it. And the NFL season starts tomorrow. Keep trying to say Thursday, but that's literally tomorrow. And there's a couple of teams that have a lot to prove heading into the season. We're going to give you a few of those. Daniel, you have one for us?
Yeah, I've got a ton, but the number one team, me and Malik have talked about it quite a bit, the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm on the train. I'll be honest. I'm on the train. It's now or never. Last year was the year. Okay, they didn't make the playoffs. You know what? We'll give them another year. I'll be honest. This is one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr. at corner. You have the young star quarterback, Justin Herbert. It's now or never. If they don't make the playoffs, fire the head coach. Change this up. If they do not make the playoffs, mark my words, Brandon Staley will be gone. Hell, I'll even say if they don't win a playoff game, Brandon Staley will be gone. This team has too much talent to not be there. Everybody likes to say, the division's hard, we'll cut them some slack.
Yeah.
No, I'm not cutting this team any slack. They're one of the most talented teams. You got everything there. What is there to miss? What is there to miss? So this team is under the most pressure in the NFL this year.
Listen, I agree with Daniel. The Chargers have been talked about so much this offseason. They're saying this is the year. They got the defense. They got the coach. They got Herbert. He's got the offense around him. Show me. I'm from the show me state. Show me. Everybody's been talking about the Chargers all off season. Well, now it's time to put up or shut up. Well, the Chargers could beat the Chargers could do. I want to see the Chargers actually do it. The division is tough. Don't get me wrong. The Broncos are in the division. They got the Chiefs in the division. They got the Raiders, who I think everybody's disrespecting, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But if you ask me, we need to see the Chargers step up finally this year. I'm tired of talking about what ifs and could ifs. Because if you ask me, I think Justin Herbert is kind of going down the Phillip Rivers path a little bit. Phillip Rivers had enough talent to win a championship with the Chargers, but guess what? They just, for some reason, couldn't always put it together. Now it's time to see. But I'll tell you who my team is with the most pressure. The Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills. Daniel's Buffalo Bills, right?
Not my team.
Not his team,
not
but he is a big believer in those Buffalo Bills. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not seeing it. I think that if the Buffalo Bills were going to do it, they would have done it one of the last 2 years, and they haven't. It's not crazy, Daniel. It's a fact. Listen, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And listen, we talk a lot about Josh Allen and what he could be and what the Buffalo Bills can accomplish. I'm waiting to see it. Listen, I think that they're going to drop off offensively. They lost Brian Dable and things of that nature. I think that was a match made in heaven if they were able to keep that crew together for as long as they did, and they weren't able to produce anything from it. Listen, if you ask me, the Buffalo Bills, they're the team with the most to prove in the National Football League this year. Will they get it done? I don't think so. Daniel does. I don't, but we'll see.
So, there's a huge difference between will they do it and having the most pressure. I agree. They have a ton of pressure because now's the year, right? The Chiefs are falling off. But to say that they're not going to do it, stop it, Malik. Yes, Brian Dable's gone. They added to the offensive line. They added to their defense. That is one of the deepest defensive lines in the league. And to say Josh Allen, what he could be, stop it. He's a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. What are we talking about? He put on an all-time performance in the playoffs against the Chiefs. He did all he could. He is a star quarterback. He is arguably, he could be in the conversation at the end of this year for the best quarterback in the NFL. So the Buffalo Bills they do have a ton of pressure, but I think that they will, rise to the occasion. So
I see the Bills as a team that everyone's choosing to win the Super Bowl and will never get there. That's it.
I disagree.
I
disagree.
know
I
that
agree,
they
Megan.
can-
I agree with you.
Everyone has them winning, and
Meg,
that's exactly why
I
they
agree
will
with
not be getting there, because every team that people predict ends up falling off.
But that's also not a good enough reason to why they're not going to do it.
It's
Look,
they
not.
haven't shown
it's
me
not.
otherwise.
What do you mean they haven't shown you otherwise? Just because they haven't made it to the Super Bowl doesn't mean they're going to not do it this year. Yes, we are in the show me state. I get it. But they have the talent. They have everything there. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I'm
They're gonna
sorry,
make it
Josh
happen.
Allen is going to surprise you guys. If you say, oh, what he could be, he will show you what he is this year.
I know he's good.
We know he's good,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So what's the debate?
He just doesn't have it in him.
What do you mean he doesn't have it in him? What are you talking about? Wait,
There's
let's actually, what does he not have in him? Like,
dog.
stop it. He has that dog.
I'll say right now, the Buffalo Bills can't put it all together. When the going gets tough, listen, pressure either creates diamonds or bursts pipes. And every single year in the playoffs, it seems to burst the Buffalo Bills pipes. I'm telling y'all something right now. I'm looking in the camera right now. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to be the team to come out of the AFC. It's not going to be the Buffalo Bills. It's not going to be the Chiefs. It's not going to be the Chargers. And it's not going to be the Raiders. Listen to me when I'm telling you this. The Buffalo Bills' time has passed. The last 2 years, they had the opportunity to prove themselves, and they were juggernauts in the AFC. They were just running roughshod over everybody. They were the measuring stick, right? Them along with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's who everybody talked about. Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills weren't able to put it together.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, they're not going to be able to put it together. They don't have an answer for the 3-headed receiving core that the Cincinnati Bengals possess. And I hate to keep bringing up the Cincinnati Bengals, but if you ask me, the Bengals are now the measuring stick in the AFC. So when we keep talking about the Buffalo Bills, and like my man Colton was saying, 25 NFL analysts, nobody picked the Bengals. I heard a lot of Buffalo Bills being picked. Where? So it brings a lot into question for me.
Yep.
I'm not sipping what they're sipping over in Buffalo. Listen, I keep it real. All I got with me is my water, and I'm drinking it, and I'm keeping it straight. I'm going to be a straight shooter with you. The Buffalo Bills are not that team.
So just for the audience, just so they know, Malik, what he likes to do, he has a bulletin board. He loves to, put up motivational quotes. I'm going to put up the quote that you just said. The Buffalo Bills' time has passed. I'm going to put that up as soon as we get back to our new house. I'm going to put that up, and I'm going to look at that every single morning, every time they win. When they win the division, when Josh Allen wins MVP, when they win multiple games in the playoffs, when they make the conference championship, and when they make the Super Bowl. I'm going to remind you, and I'm going to have you look at that every single morning. The Buffalo Bills' time has passed, and I'm not going to have you let this go. And Colton, hold me to this. Our producer, hold me to this.
And he says he's not a Buffalo Bills fan. Sounds like one to me.
I'm not a fan. I'm a realist. So we'll see. So another team I want to talk about just for the audience,
Daniel, let me get to my team.
Meg, I completely.
Yeah.
Let's hear yours. Let's hear yours.
I personally have the Baltimore Ravens as a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Last year, they had a lot of talk about injuries and blah, 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 and we didn't make it because of this. And, it's true. They were injured. But now's your time to come back and prove that it really wasn't just, the Bengals just were healthy and we were hurt. Like, now's your time to prove that you are really good. And if you don't, then all these fan bases saying everything they said last season just goes right in the garbage. So that's my team.
So what Meg is saying basically is time to put up or shut up. The excuses fall flat, Ravens fans.
Yep.
Ravens. So at the end of the day, you're healthy. You got your quarterback. You got
Now's
your team in place. It's either now or never. And I'm going to tell you the same thing about the Buffalo Bills. Never. Never. It ain't never happening. You hear me? It ain't never happening. Never.
We're going to see. We're going to see every single
Just
week.
like Nate Diaz being Kamzat Shemaev.
Never said
never
he will.
happening.
Never said he will.
Never happening.
Never said he
never.
will. But so, Meg, I love that. I've got one more team. The Philadelphia Eagles. This one, it is time for them to show up, right? You got the quarterback, they say. They believe in Jalen Hurts. They gave him the star receiver. They added so much to the defense. They added to their offensive line. They got the first-round pick, Devontae Smith, last year. They have the easiest division, arguably, in the entire NFL. It's now or never. So I'm sorry. Now's the time for the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of their fans are always, speaking up, telling us, saying they're winning the division this year. The Cowboys suck. The Commanders suck. If you don't win the division this year, if you don't make the playoffs, what's going on? Jalen Hurts isn't that guy. So it's now or never. They need to make the playoffs. They need to win the division, and they need to win a playoff game.
Something that's interesting about that, I believe the stat says in the last 15 plus years, no team in the NFC East has won the division back-to-back years. So if I'm a betting man, I wouldn't bet on the Eagles to win the division. I think those Cowboys might do it this year. I do. I really do. But, guys, there's some breaking news coming out. The producer just showed me it. We've got the Jets just announced Joe Flacco was going to be the starting quarterback against the Baltimore Ravens for week 1.
Wow.
Is that a revenge game for him? So it's going to be Lamar versus Joey Flack. So what do we think there?
I mean, so obviously we got a betting show Saturday, 10:30. I've got a huge play for this game. I'm sorry. This is going to be a bloodbath. This was with Zach Wilson, without Zach Wilson. Joe Flacco's good. He's a veteran. The Ravens are going to kill them. The Ravens are going to demolish them. Listen, Joe Flacco, he showed that he's still a capable quarterback, but that's it. How are they going to, what on that defense is going to stop Lamar Jackson? And what are they going to push? What type of offense do they have with Joe Flacco? So I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson, they are going to win that game. I love that play too.
It's going to be interesting.
Wow. Yeah. Did not expect that one, to be honest.
Yeah. Joe Flacco as a starting quarterback is going to be interesting. I never thought Joe Flacco. I mean, I expect him to be the starter because obviously Zach Wilson's dealing with his injuries, but it's kind of weird that he's it's like a full circle moment, if you will. Joe Flacco going to be the starting quarterback against the Ravens this week. But want to also let you guys know, if you're going to be at the Bengals versus Steelers home opener, right, at Paycor Stadium, you can find me at 11 a.m. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a meet and greet. I'll be in Hilltop Lot. We're doing a Madden 23 potential giveaway for those of you who want to test your Bengals trivia knowledge. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You follow First Star. And, look for me, Hilltop Lot, this upcoming Sunday, 11 a.m. I'll be all over the place.
Well, that's all the time that we have